Welcome back to the Foxworth Theory. I'm Eugenia Foxworth. We're speaking with Grammy Award-winning trumpet master Nabate Isles. Welcome back, Mr. Isles. Could
Hello,
you
thank you.
continue with us about your hip hop um, experience with lyricist Niles and vocalist Beth Griffin Manley, etc.?
Yes, yes, indeed. Now Niles and I co-wrote a song to dedicate for Chadwick Boseman. When Chadwick Boseman died and passed away, made the transition in August of 2020. Niles did a nice freestyle, real like riveting freestyle about Chadwick Boseman. And Niles's real name, his government first name is Chadwick, which is interesting, so he did a great freestyle, and I called him because we knew each other back when he was in New York. He played in bands of mine and everything, and we worked together musically. And then he moved out to Minneapolis, but we kept in touch. So when when I heard that, I called him. I said, "Hey, we need to do a song for sure," because we always said we had to do a song together, and never came around. So this was it, and then I was able to make the track, and Niles was able to write the hook as well as the lyrics, of course, so we had that collaboration, kind of like a Pete Rock CL Smooth type of collaboration, Gangstar type of with DJ Premier and Guru. We had that connection. So then Niles is good friends with Beth Griffin Manley, who was on The Voice for NBC, and she, we got her to sing the hook that Niles wrote, and the rest was history. So, and we had to do it for Chadwick Boseman because he meant so much as not just a thespian, but as a humanitarian, as someone that inspired Black folk and everything. And now Howard University named its Department of Fine Arts after Chadwick Boseman. So he is really set a mark for all of us when it comes to Black excellence. And shout out to Derek Boseman, Chadwick's older brother. Shout out to him for supporting the song and really, giving us the love and the blessing with it.
And you've composed movie scores for 5 short films and 1 full feature. What were they?
Yes, The Rhythm in Blue, which is a great film by Tony Parker, and everything. And not the basketball player Tony Parker, but Tony with an I at the end. A great, great female director. And she wrote the film called The Rhythm in Blue. So that was my first full-length feature. And then I've written for short films and everything, like short films like Zach Rogers, Police Detective, like a lot of short films by student filmmakers that were just getting into the professional mark. So yes, it was great to do that. A lot of my NYU connections and everything. And I want to do more film composition for sure. I'm ready to really delve into that and be focused on that. So I look forward to it.
Great. So when we last left off, I mentioned that not only are you a great music man, but you're also a solid journalist and reporter. How did you become a sports and newsman?
Yes, no. What happened was in my late 20s, I was always a sports aficionado when I was back as a kid. I would, if I wasn't practicing, then I was watching and ESPN in the late 80s, early 90s. That's when it was developing to be what ESPN is. So I was watching ESPN, I was reading sports books. I've always been into history when it comes to sports, film, and music history. That's it right there. Like I've always read, I've always watched documentaries, things like that. So I went on Stump the Schwab, the game show Stump the Schwab. Shout out to Howard Schwab, who was the genius of sports, trivia, and we keep in touch to this day. What a great man! And so yeah, I did that show. I won the show, and I didn't know him before the show because that would be illegal, like I didn't know him at all. So we met after the show and everything, and he was really, really awesome. And Stuart Scott, God rest his soul, was the host of it. But yeah, I did that, and I was like, yeah, I think I could do some sports media. I like to do that. I think I have knowledge, and I have great questions, different questions I would ask people. So then I did so much to talk about on Manhattan Neighborhood Network. Still to this day, I have that show. And then it parlayed me to get into being able to go and cover NCAA basketball events, NBA events, NFL, Major League Baseball, boxing. And I started my sports career with Lou DiBella. Shout out to Lou DiBella. I worked with his with DiBella Entertainment, with his organization. So that got me connections in sports. So it was just really building up and building up. And then I worked with ESPN and then NBA radio after that. And now I'm still doing it. And like I said, doing on Where They At as well. There's so much to talk about Where They At. It's a podcast you can check out on any podcast platform, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, etc. And it's interviewing retired sports athletes. So
That's wonderful. But is it a challenge balancing this with making music?
very much a challenge. Very much, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. That's why I left Sirius NBA Radio. That's why I left, because I needed, when the album came out, I need to focus on the music, and I want to, like, now I'm being able to create, working on creating my own content. I'd rather do that. So then I can be able to feed my creative juices, to fuel my creative juices and soul. That's really important. So that's what I'm focusing on now, just building my own material. And also I'm working on my second album too, by the way, which I'm signed to Rope-A-Dope Records, one of the great independent record labels in the world. They've been around for 20 years. So I'm doing my second album, Rope-A-Dope, recording in May. It got delayed because of the Omicron scare. Unfortunately, we were supposed to record in January, but then, as you know, that Omicron thing was and it was ridiculous. Like, excuse me, 3 members of the recording all had COVID either before the session or right during the session. Right there. So thank God we didn't end up doing it, but we're going to record in May and looking to release the album in the fall for Rope-A-Dope. So shout out to Rope-A-Dope Records. Looking forward to have my second project come out.
Oh, that is great. So can you share with us any interesting stories or anecdotes of your sports reporting?
Woo! I tell you, talking with athletes about music, that is the great thing. Talking with athletes or talking with fellow media members about music that know their music, it's a pleasant surprise. Like someone like a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, I've had the honor to speak with him on many occasions because he has a connection with the jazz world and, of course, the basketball world, one of the greatest basketball players that ever lived. But also, too, his father was a jazz trombonist. His father was, so he was always into the music. And people don't know Kareem was good friends with Larry Willis. God rest Larry Willis's soul, the great jazz pianist that went to Music and Art High School, where I went to LaGuardia, So Larry Willis and Kareem would play Rucker Park together. They were both the same age. I'll never forget Larry Willis said, who could say that I played at Rucker Park with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? No, who could say that I got my shot blocked by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar at Rucker Park and then played the Slugs that night, with Lee Morgan or something? So it's just so great. So I think it's great to talk with athletes and sports people about music, and they really, it's the enthusiasm they have knowing that I'm a professional musician. Some of them come up to me saying, like, I heard about you. I heard you won a Grammy. Like, it's just really awesome. So I've made great relationships in both and keep in touch with a lot of people to this day, which is really awesome.
It's really a blessing. It really is. And it's exciting for me just to hear it. So you said that you currently host a series on Manhattan Cable. So much to talk about. What do you talk about on your show?
Oh, yes, like everything, like sports, entertainment, music, and everything like that. And I have friends of mine come on, a lot of people in the sports world, in media, sports media, and everything that come on the show. And so it's great. And the next episodes is so much to talk about. Features Chris Herron. Shout out to Chris Herron and everything. He wrote the book on the New York Knicks in the 90s, and everything, like on that team. That was like a physical team, wrote a great book on that history of the New York Knicks in the 90s. So I had him on the show and everything. It was great to talk with him and knew him through the scene, through the sports scene, through going to the Knicks games, covering the Knicks games, talking, you build relationships, and it's very similar to music in that aspect. You see people, the same people for years and years and years there's like a camaraderie. You know, you may not be the best friends with them, but you know, you may not be in touch with them all the time, but when you see each other, it's love. You know what I mean? That's so music and sports is very much like that. It's a community, a very small community for each. And you see them, you see people over and over, and it's like you pick off where you left off, you know? And it's good energy. So
Yes, I
and
can see that.
yeah, but I'm really proud of where they at though. Like the poster, as you can see right there, where they at, that poster right there. So, in the back with the silhouette of me looking up. I've had the honor. I mean, I've had the honor to have people like Larry Brown, the great NBA coach, Hall of Famer, and Tim Hardaway Sr. and Dr. John Carlos, who raised the fist in 1968, and everything. Marshall Falk, who I'm became good friends with because he's heavily in the financial world. So he's like served as an advisor for me and everything. The great Marshall Falk, Hall of Famer. So like that's the great thing. Once again, like how everything merges and mixes together. And shout out to Chuck D. I had Chuck D from Public Enemy on the show. You know, even though he's not an athlete, he's heavily involved in sports. Bradford Marcellus, shout out to him. Taylor Hackford, the great filmmaker. So I like to talk to people and profile people and really delve into their lives and their careers.
I would never have guessed. So, what's next for you, Nabate Isles?
Yes, yes. Well, as mentioned, Rope-A-Dope Records going to be recording with them, recording in May for my second album and releasing it in the fall. So I look forward to that. Uh, it's going to be eclectic, but it's going to be more focused and like stylistically. So it's going to be some different stuff. I think it's going to be for like a lot of different ears to really enjoy. So pretty much working towards that, and then working on a couple of projects, looking to pitch some projects, documentaries and everything that I'm getting together now. So yeah, so I'm just like looking to create my own stuff, and I just became a dad as well. So literally last week. So so fatherhood, that's a major part of my life, you know, and everything. And I look forward to that. So I look forward to looking at I love looking at my little daughter all the time. It's my first child. So yeah, so fatherhood is also gonna be on the horizon until the day I die.
Wow,
You know.
that's beautiful. I hope you weren't like at the football game after they won, you had to run off from wherever you were to get to the hospital on time.
Ooh, that's interesting that you said that. Like I was gonna go to the Super Bowl in LA. I didn't get to because my wife was pregnant. Like towards the due date was around that time. Also, All Star Weekend, which I go to every year, NBA All Star Weekend. That was the next weekend. I could, yeah. So hey, but it was all worth it. It was all worth it, you know. So
Uh,
definitely. But I'll
that's
be back at those events next year.
with her in tow in another 2 years.
Yeah, yeah,
The
yeah,
big-
right. Yeah, baby girl, yeah, because she'll be a sports fan. I hope, you know,
um,
but yeah, I
she
want to
will.
expose her to everything, sports, music, you know, that I want to have that, give her choices on what she wants to do. Because I know I could tell she has talent already. She already, you know, I could tell.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. Well, I love sports. I do everything. I
Yes.
I was dragged by my dad, not really. Um, I, they're just, to everything. And when I came here, I got involved with different sports. So it's fine. It affected me only in one way. My girlfriends say, "Oh God, not even you, my husband, but not you." So
Yes, indeed. You look like you've been an athlete throughout your life, you know, for sure. So, yeah, definitely.
So now, how can folks, as they say, find you on social media? You did mention a couple of things, but I'm sure with everything that you've said, you must be everywhere.
Yes, trying to be everywhere and get everything out there for people to know about. But yes, thank you for asking, Eugenia. And my website is Nabate NabateIsles.com. NabateIsles.com. That's my website. So you get updates on what's happening with me. You get to see past work that I've done and everything like that. Also, my Instagram, my IG is as in no, S as in Sam, I as in Indigo, NSI.Universal. That's my IG. Also, my Twitter is at Nabate Isles, SMTA. So it's S as in Sam, M as in more, T as in Tom, A as in Apple, SMTA. So at Nabate Isles, SMTA. That's my Twitter. And yeah, and also you can check, like I said, where they at is on my is on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and then I also have my YouTube channel, which is NSI World. NSI World is my YouTube channel with past episodes, some past episodes, so much to talk about.
You are a very, very interesting man. And I know what it's like to be eclectic. Just one question before we leave you.
Mhm.
What is your sign?
I'm a Leo, August 12th.
Okay.
Yeah. Spotlight. Love the spotlight. You know?
I was just a little bit curious.
Yes. What's your sign? What's your sign?
Gemini on the cusp. Taurus,
Oh,
Gemini.
wow. Yes. Yes, indeed. Yes,
Yes,
indeed. I get
it
along with Gemini
works.
as well. Yes.
Yes. So,
So
Nabate Isles, thank you for
thank
joining
you.
us.
Thank you for
And
having me.
thank you, the viewers, for tuning in to the Foxworth Theory, which airs every Tuesday and Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Foxworth Theory Network. Thank you.
Thank you.